Tonight, we're serving up a clash between order and disruption. This is Via versus CNS. Okay, the overdogs, the shock and awe, the big splash, and finally, the steamrollers. Let's get into it.
I'm not where I wanna be, yeah, but I'm not where I used to be. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. There was a time when I thought my limits were permanent, when I looked at my circumstances and confused them with destiny, when I underestimated what could happen over years if somebody stayed committed to improving consistently. Back then I spent too much energy focusing on what I lacked, too much time comparing my chapter to somebody else's path, too much attention on the distance I still had to travel, not enough appreciation for the progress I already had. Now when I look back, I see somebody who was trying, somebody who kept learning even when the road felt uncertain, somebody who made mistakes and had to figure things out, but somebody who refused to stop moving forward, fast flow. I kept building and adapting and changing direction, learning from failures and collecting lessons, finding better habits and stronger perspectives, turning no weaknesses into investments. Every year gave me something I didn't have before, and every challenge opened another door. I'm more than I used to be, more than yesterday, more than every version that slowly faded away. More than I used to be, still growing every day, and that's enough reason to keep finding a way. I'm more than I used to be, more than yesterday, more than every version that slowly faded away. More than I used to be, still growing every day, and that's enough reason to keep finding a way. I'm more than I used to be. Yeah. I think one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned is that growth rarely feels dramatic while it's happening. Most of the time it's hidden inside ordinary routines, inside choices that don't seem important until later. You don't notice confidence being built day by day. You don't notice discipline becoming part of your identity. You don't notice experience changing the way you think until one day you respond differently to the same challenge. That's when you realize something changed. Not the world, you. I used to avoid things that made me uncomfortable. Now I understand discomfort often means development. I used to fear making mistakes in front of people. Now I know mistakes are part of learning anything meaningful. Fast flow, I stopped chasing perfection and started chasing progress, and stopped looking for shortcuts and started trusting processes. Stopped asking whether I could and started asking how, because better questions create better outcomes. The person I am today still has goals to reach, but the person I am today would inspire the person I used to be. Yeah, would inspire the person I used to be. Yeah. Maybe that's what success is, not becoming perfect, becoming better. That's why the person I used to be. Maybe that's what success is, not becoming perfect, becoming better. I'm more than I used to be, but I'm not done yet. Still writing new chapters, still placing new bets. I'm more than I used to be, and that's the proof I need, because growth is the result of the things you repeat. I don't compete with strangers, I compete with the old versions of myself, and lately I've been winning, yeah. Yeah. They saw the result. They didn't see the years. They saw the building. They didn't see the bricks. Let's go! I built this in silence long before anybody noticed. Long before there were results, long before there was progress. Long before I had proof that any of this would work. I was showing up every day and putting in the effort. There were no headlines waiting for me in those moments. No spotlight, no audience, no guarantees attached to it. Just a vision that refused to leave me alone, and the decision that I was gonna follow it. Most people only see what finally becomes visible. They don't see the hundreds of ordinary days behind it. The days that felt repetitive and almost forgettable, that quietly built the foundation underneath it. Fast flow. I kept learning and building and making adjustments, taking every challenge and creating something, but finding better habits and stronger perspectives, turning uncertainty into investments, brick by brick, page by page, day by day. That's how it happened.
I built this in silence.
I built this in silence.
When nobody knew.
I built this in silence.
When there was no proof.
I built this in silence.
Through patience and time, and every step I took became part of the climb.
There were moments when it would have been easy to stop. Moments when the distance looked bigger than the destination. Moments when the dream seemed completely unrealistic. And moments when doubt sounded surprisingly convincing. But every time I thought about walking away, I remember how much of myself was already invested. Not just the time, but the lessons of growth and the person I was becoming through the process. I learned that real confidence doesn't come from attention. It comes from knowing how much work you put in privately. It comes from seeing yourself continue through difficult seasons and realizing you're stronger than you thought you've been. You thought you'd be. Fast flow. I'm chasing applause and started chasing improvement. Stopped measuring success to outside approval. Started trusting the habits that nobody could see. because those habits were slowly changing me. The strongest parts of the structure were built on the ground before anybody could see them. The roots came first, the tree came later.
The roots came first, the tree came later.
I built this in silence.
And nobody knew.
I built this in silence.
And nothing was left.
I built this in silence.
And now understand, the quietest seasons can build the strongest plan.
Everybody sees the outcome. I remember the process, because that's where everything was built.
I built this in silence.
Yeah, I used to wait for the right time, wait for confidence, wait for certainty. Then one day, I started. Everything changed when I started, not when I succeeded, not when things got easier and not when people believed it. The biggest difference happened the moment I decided that waiting wasn't helping me become who I wanted to be. For years, I thought I needed more knowledge before action, more confidence before commitment, more proof before movement. But every answer I was searching for stayed out of reach, because answers usually show up after you begin. I remember standing at the edge of a lot of possibilities, thinking about the future more than I was creating it, trying to solve every problem before taking the first step, until I realized progress doesn't work that way. Fast flow. I kept thinking and planning and making assumptions, building theory deals and future discussions, trying to predict every possible outcome while opportunity kept moving without me. Then I finally started, and everything shifted, not overnight, but immediately. Everything is when I started. Everything changed when I started. Not when I won. Everything changed when I started. That's where it begun. Everything changed when I started. One step became more, then suddenly I wasn't standing still anymore. Standing still anymore, yeah. The funny thing is the world didn't change that morning. The sky looked the same and the road still looked difficult. The difference was I stopped asking for permission and started trusting myself enough to move forward. I learned momentum is one of the most powerful things, because one action naturally creates another action, and another action creates another opportunity, until the distance between you and your goal gets smaller. A lot of people think they're stuck because they need motivation, but sometimes they're stuck because they need movement, because movement creates confidence in ways thinking never can, and experience teaches lessons. Imagination came fast flow. I stopped waiting for perfect conditions, stopped searching for guaranteed decisions, started focusing on daily consistency, started building through repetition. Every small habit started changing the picture. Every small effort started making me different. The hardest step wasn't the 10th one, it was the first one. Hardest step wasn't the 10th one, it was the first one. Hardest step wasn't the 10th one, it was the first one. Everything changed when I started. Everything changed when I started. You didn't leave. Everything changed when I started. Stop listening. Everything changed when I started. That's the lesson I learned. The future gets closer the moment you move first. The moment you move first. Yeah. I didn't need a breakthrough. I need a beginning. Once I found it, everything changed. Everything changed when I started. No messages. No noise. Just a pen. Just a page. Let's go. I wrote a letter at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep, because there were too many thoughts in my head to keep. Too many dreams still unfinished, too many promises to meet, and I needed somewhere to put everything I believed. I wasn't writing to the world, I was writing to myself, to the version in the future standing somewhere else. I wanted to know if all this effort would eventually help, or if I still be chasing answers sitting on a shelf. I wrote about the doubts that nobody really knew, the pressure of trying to build something from a point of view, the fear of wasting time and never becoming who I knew I could become if I stay committed all the way through. Fast flow, I kept writing and thinking and making connections, turning confusion to written reflections, trying to catch every lesson and question before they appear with the night in progression. Every sentence felt like a conversation through time between who I was then and who I hope to find.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
still lives in my mind.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Help me stay alive.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Reminded me to see.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
It's depending on me. It's depending on me. When I read read those words again a couple years later, I realized I wasn't really looking for an answer. I was looking for courage, direction, and patience, trying to find a reason to continue to climb. What surprised me most wasn't what I had written, it was how many things eventually happened. Not exactly the way I imagined them back then, but close enough to remind me that effort matters. The goals changed shape, the vision got clearer, the road stayed difficult, but I got stronger. And every challenge that once looked impossible became another chapter that I moved through. Fast flow, I stopped looking for certainty in every decision, started trusting movement and consistent ambition. Learn to grow doesn't happen through wishing, happen through action and repetition. The person who wrote that letter didn't know everything, but they knew enough to keep going on. Sometimes you don't need answers, sometimes you need a reminder. Yeah.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
wasn't perfect or planned.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
help me understand.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Still echo today.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Because the words we write to ourselves can help show the way. Yeah. Dear future me, if you're reading this, I hope you never forgot why we started only missing. Yeah. Years ago, I made a promise. Not to anybody else, to myself. Let's go. The future I promised myself still lives somewhere ahead of me. Not as a destination, but as a direction keeps guiding me. I remember being younger and imagining who I could become, long before I knew how much work that vision would actually take. Back then I didn't have a detailed blueprint for the journey, and I just know wanting more than repeating the same routine, but different. I'm at the time, somebody didn't really respect. There were the days when the future felt incredibly far away, days when the gap between reality and dreams looked massive. But every time I thought about giving up on the vision, I remembered that promise and kept moving forward, fast flow. I kept learning, adapting, and finding direction, taking every challenge and turning it into progression, building a future through daily repetition, trying to honor every promise and intention. Every year that passed added another layer to the person I was becoming, in the future I was chasing.
The future I promised myself.
Self still calling my name.
The future I promised myself.
Self still lighting the way.
The future I promised myself.
Self feels closer than before.
Cause every step I take
moves me a little more. I used to think the future would arrive all at once, like there would be a single moment when everything changed. Now I understand the future quietly grows in the background, through habits and choices that seemed small at the time. Most of the progress happened when nobody was watching, when there were no celebrations attached to the effort. Just ordinary days filled with ordinary decisions that slowly created extraordinary results. I learned that keeping a promise to yourself is powerful, because it changes how you see your own potential. Every time you follow through on something you committed to, you build trust with the person staring back in the mirror, fast flow. I stopped waiting for perfect circumstances, stopped depending on temporary motivation, started trusting consistency and patience, because those things survive every situation. The future didn't suddenly appear. I built it. Piece by piece, choice by choice. The promise wasn't about becoming famous. The promise wasn't about becoming famous. The promise was about becoming better.
the future I promised myself.
Still lives ahead.
The future I promised myself.
Still feeling my head.
The future I promised myself.
Isn't built through luck.
It's built through the days when I keep showing up. The future I promised myself isn't waiting for me. It's being created by what I do
Hey, that a version nobody met. Hey. There's a version of me that nobody met yet, and that's the one I'm chasing. The one that's still being built through patience, dedication. The one that's hidden inside every lesson I'm learning lately, and every decision I make when nobody's paying attention. Most people only know the chapter that I'm living right now. They don't know the future version that's still under construction. The person I'm becoming through all these daily choices, and all the quiet moments spent improving my foundation. I think about that version more than I think about success, because success can come and go, but character stays. And every day I'm trying to close the distance between the person I am today and the person I could be. Fast flow, I keep learning and adapting and changing my perspective, finding better habits and making better investments, not just with money but with time and attention, because those two things shape every direction. Every year I become a little less afraid, a little more focused, a little more brave. Yeah, the version nobody met, still waiting up here. The version nobody met, still living in my head. The version nobody met keeps calling my name, and every single day I'm getting closer again. I used to think growth meant becoming somebody completely different. Now I think growth means becoming more of who you really are, removing the doubts, the fear, and the limitations that stop you from seeing your own potential clearly. The version nobody met isn't perfect and never will be, but that version trusts the process more than the outcome. That version doesn't quit when things don't happen immediately, and understands that meaningful things take time. There are still goals I haven't reached and dreams I haven't touched, still skills I wanna learn and places I wanna go. But instead of seeing those things as reasons to feel behind, I see them as reminders that the story's still alive. Fast flow, I keep building and growing and making improvements, taking every challenge and turning it into movement. Every setback is useful information, helping me continue the transformation. The future version of me isn't built in one moment, it's built through thousands of ordinary ones. Maybe I'll never completely arrive, maybe that's the point. The version nobody met, still growing every day. The version nobody met, still finding a way. The version nobody met feels closer than before, 'cause every step I take brings me a little bit more. The version nobody met, still growing every day. The version nobody met, still finding a way. The version nobody met feels closer than before, 'cause every step I take brings me a little bit more. People ask me who I am. Honestly, I'm still becoming, and that's what makes the journey worth it. Yeah. Everybody places bets. Some bet on trends, some bet on luck. One day, I bet on myself. Let's go. Yeah. The day I bet on myself was the day everything started changing. Not because the world got easier, but because I stopped hesitating. I spent too many years waiting for certainty and validation, until I realized neither one was ever guaranteed. I remember looking at my life and asking myself a simple question: if I don't believe in my own potential, then who else is supposed to? That thought stayed with me longer than I expected, and it forced me to become honest about what I really wanted. I wasn't standing on a mountaintop full of confidence, I wasn't carrying proof that everything will work out. I was standing in uncertainty with nothing but a vision, and somehow I decided that was enough to begin. I kept learning and adapting and changing my direction, taking every mistake and turning it into a lesson, building the foundation through patience and repetition, trying to become the person I saw in my imagination. Every time the road got difficult, that decision kept showing up, reminding me that growth begins the moment you stop backing up. Day I bet on myself, everything felt different, the future wasn't certain, but I was committed the day I bet on myself. I stopped waiting for a sign and started building a life, one day at a time. People think confidence come before action, but I learned confidence usually follow commitment. It follows the days when you keep your word to yourself, even when nobody would know if you broke it. There were moments when the eyes didn't look impressed. Moments when the dream seemed larger than my resource. Moments when giving up would have been easier to explain, but I couldn't ignore what that decision meant anymore, because betting on myself wasn't about winning immediately. It was about proving I could trust myself consistently. It was about choosing growth over comfort repeatedly, and understanding that progress takes time to reveal itself. I stopped chasing guarantees and started chasing progress. Stopped measuring my worth through temporary success. Started focusing on habits and daily investments, because because the future is built through consistent effort. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The more I move forward, the clearer everything became. Not because all the questions just appear, because I learned how to walk anyway. Yeah, yeah. Looking back now, the biggest risk wasn't betting on myself. Biggest risk would have been never trying. The day I bet on myself, changed the direction. Day I bet on myself, I found a connection between who I was and who I could become, and every day since then, I've kept moving on. The day I bet on myself, I didn't win overnight, I didn't become perfect, I just thought that I worked the effort, and it changed every day. Yeah. I've kept moving on.
Yeah. People always ask,
How did you keep going?
truth is,
It wasn't one thing.
let's go.
Yeah. When I look back at the years that changed my life the most, I don't remember perfect moments, I remember persistence. I remember showing up on days when motivation disappeared and finding reasons to continue even when it felt difficult. A lot of people think progress comes from feeling inspired, but some of my biggest steps happened when I felt uncertain, when the road ahead looked longer than I expected. And I had to trust the process more than my emotions. What kept me going wasn't confidence every single day, because confidence comes and goes like changing weather. What kept me going was the belief that one small step forward was always better than standing still and wondering forever fast flow.
I kept learning and adapting and making adjustments, taking every challenge and finding something constructive.
Building momentum through daily consistency, trying to become somebody stronger mentally. Every lesson mattered, every setback counted, every difficult season taught me something valuable. What kept me going?
The dream was part of it.
What kept me going?
The vision helped a bit.
What kept me going?
Was knowing deep inside that quitting would've hurt more than continuing the climb.
There were moments when I questioned everything I was doing. Moments when the distance between me and the goal felt endless. Moments when taking the easy road sounded attractive, and moments when doubt felt louder than determination. But every time I imagined walking away from the journey, something inside reminded me why I started in the first place. Not because success was guaranteed at the end of the road, but because becoming better was worth the effort itself. I realized growth isn't really about reaching the destination. It's about becoming the kind of person who keeps moving, the kind of person who learns from mistakes instead of hiding, and the kind of person who refuses to let fear decide.
I stopped searching for shortcuts and started building habits. Stopped looking for instant results and started trusting practice.
Stopped asking how fast and started asking how far, because consistency takes you places motivation can't. The road got easier when I stopped fighting the process and started respecting it. Maybe the answer was simple, I kept going, because the story wasn't finished. Kept me going.
The promise I made
Kept me going.
the promise I gained,
Kept me going.
the future I could see, and the person I was becoming along the way. People ask what kept me going.
Honestly,
The belief that tomorrow could be better than today.
and that was enough, like, what kept me going.
Yeah. No messages. No message. Just a pen. Just a page. Let's go.
I wrote a letter at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep, because there were too many thoughts in my head to keep, too many dreams still unfinished, too many promises to meet, and I needed somewhere to put everything I believe. I wasn't writing to the world, I was writing to myself, to the version in the future standing somewhere else. I wanted to know if all this effort would eventually help, or if I'd still be chasing answers sitting on a shelf. I wrote about the doubts that nobody really knew, the pressure of trying to build something from a point of view, the fear of wasting time and never becoming who I knew I could become if I stay committed all the way through. Fast fast flow. I kept writing and thinking and making connections, turning confusion into reflection, trying to capture every lesson in question before they disappear but not in progression. Every sentence felt like a conversation through time between who I was then and who I hope to find. Still lives in my mind.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Help me stay alive. Reminding me to see the future isn't waiting, it's depending on me. When I read those words again, a couple years later, I realized I wasn't really looking for an answer. I was looking for courage, direction, and patience, trying to find a reason to continue to climb. What surprised me most wasn't what I had written, it was how many things eventually happened. Not exactly the way I imagined them back then, but close enough to remind me that effort matters. The goals changed shape, the vision got clearer, the road stayed difficult, but I got stronger. And every challenge that once looked impossible became another chapter that I moved through. Fast flow, I stopped looking for certainty in every decision, started trusting movement and consider ambition. Learning growth doesn't happen to wishing, it happens through action and repetition. The person who wrote that letter didn't know everything, but they knew enough to keep going. Sometimes you don't need answers, sometimes you need a reminder.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Wasn't perfect or planned,
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
help me understand.
The letter I wrote at 3 a.m.
Still echoes today, because the words we write to ourselves can help show the way. Dear future me, if you're reading this, I hope you never forgot why we started this. Yeah, a lot of dreams disappear, some get forgotten, some get replaced, but these are the dreams I refuse to drop. Let's go. And there were dreams I carried with me long before they made sense, long before I had a plan, long before I had experience. People told me life would probably change my perspective, but somehow those same dreams kept surviving every season. They stayed with me through uncertainty in different chapters, through moments when the future looked smaller than I imagined, through days when I questioned whether I was good enough, and nights when the distance felt bigger than my confidence. A lot of things changed as I got older, my priorities shifted and my understanding grew. But there were certain goals that never really left me, because they felt connected to who I truly was. Fast flow, I kept learning and adapting and finding direction, taking every chance of making corrections, building and finding guidance and making progression, trying to honor every promise and intention. Every year that passed, tested how much I wanted it, and every year I answered by continuing. The dreams I refused to drop, the dreams I chose to keep, the dreams that stayed alive even when the road got the dreams I refuse to drop, still calling me today, and every step I'm taking is leading me that way. I think a lot of people underestimate persistence, because they only see the destination, not the distance. They don't see how many times a dream has to survive doubt before it becomes strong enough to stand on its own. There were opportunities to settle for less than I imagined, opportunities to convince myself that good enough was enough. But every time I thought about letting those dreams go, something inside reminded me why I picked them up. I realized dreams aren't always supposed to be convenient. Sometimes they're meant to challenge who you're becoming. Sometimes they demand patience, discipline, and sacrifice, because they're preparing you for something bigger. Fast flow, I stopped measuring progress through speed, started measuring progress through consistency. Stopped worrying about how long it might take, started focusing on who I was becoming on the way. But a dream didn't get smaller, I got stronger. That's the difference, that's the difference. The dream didn't get smaller, I got stronger. That's the difference, that's the difference. The dreams I refused to drop, the dreams I chose to keep, the dreams that stayed alive even when the road got steep. Dreams I refused to drop, still calling me today, and every step I'm taking is leading me that way. A dream, the dream, the dreams I refuse to drop. Every step I'm taking is leading me that way. Some dreams fade away, the right ones stay. Some dreams out of direction drop. Some dreams out of direction drop.
Yeah. Everybody sees the finished chapter. Nobody sees the page before it. Let's go.
I still got pages I never showed anyone, sitting in a notebook.
Ideas I wrote at 3 in the morning when the whole world looked asleep. Thoughts I never post, plans I never spoke about publicly, cause some dreams feel too important to explain too early. Those pages watch me change through different seasons of my life. They saw me when I felt confident and when I questioned every line. They saw me chasing goals that felt impossible at the time, and they stayed there quietly while I figured out my mind. I used to think every idea needed immediate attention, like every vision had to be announced the moment I imagined it. Then I learned some things go stronger when they're protected, before they're strong enough to survive outside opinions, yeah. I kept writing, rewriting, and changing the direction, building different futures through a collection of sentences. Some became plans and some became lessons, but every single page became part of my progression. Every notebook I filled was a snapshot of growth, a reminder that I kept moving even when it felt slow. Pages I never showed anyone, pages nobody read, pages full of dreams still living in my head. Days I never showed anyone, but they helped me become the person standing here today, still moving forward. If you open those notebooks, you see more than words. You see years of uncertainty mixed with determination. You see goals getting crossed out and replaced by bigger ones. You see proof that growth rarely happens in a straight line. Some pages were written on days when everything felt possible. Some pages were written when I wasn't sure what came next. Some pages carried questions I couldn't answer back then, and some pages eventually became the answers themselves. That's why never throw those old notebooks away, cause they're evidence of every version of me to try. The person who kept learning even when progress felt invisible. The person who refused to quit before the picture was complete. Every page carried a piece of the mission. Every line carried a different vision. Every draft carried another decision, helping me move toward a different position. Now when I look back, I don't see unfinished thoughts. I see foundations, I see beginnings.